Hello everyone and welcome back to a brand new video and welcome to round 5 of season 3 of our F125 My Team Career Mode. Yes, we return this weekend here for the Spanish Grand Prix at the Circuit de Catalunya, Barcelona. Yes, I got it wrong in the last video. I thought we were returning to Imola this weekend, but it actually means we've got quite a long gap between the Saudi Arabian Grand Prix and the Spanish GP, so we've got a little bit of office admin to do, if you will, inside this game as well. Of course, first of all though, if you missed out on Jeddah, go back, check it out. It was a rather interesting race. 4 races so far down this season, and Max Verstappen has dominated most of them. But Yuki Tsunoda finally chalked up his first victory of the campaign last weekend as well. They denied the Dutchman 4 straight victories to kickstart the campaign. Leclerc, he has finished 3rd in every race that he's finished so far this season, so brutal consistency coming from him. I seem to run a pattern of podium, 6th, podium, 6th so far this year, but apart from Max Verstappen, everybody has been a little bit all over the show. Lando Norris, 3 4th place finishes in a row recently as well then. But if we take a quick look at the overall vehicle performance at the moment, you can see we are getting more and more facility upgrades into the car as well, which is exactly what we want to be doing. Like I said, we've got a lot of admin to be getting on with before we head into this weekend. So we're just trying to get as many facility upgrades onto the car as we can. You know, just trying to build those up as best as possible. Upgrade-wise, you can see we are just ahead of Alpine V-Carb and Kick Sauber at the moment, but we have got a few more upgrades in the works as well. You can see some of those now have been paused because obviously we are heading into a kind of small break, if you will, inside this game. Clearly, trying to do single developments just keeps soft locking it as well, which is rather frustrating. But I don't actually believe there's many more upgrades we can do at the moment. In fact, on aero, chassis, and powertrain, we've done everything I possibly can. So we're just spending R&D to try and obviously get some of these last durability upgrades done as well there. So we've literally only got a few more upgrades to do inside this game. That's just how much we've completed inside F125. So immediately, we're gonna get a part failure. Love that. Right, are we going to be able to get some of these to actually work this time around? Nope, still no, apparently. So, yeah, going to have to wait a little bit longer there and wait for some more parts to come in before we can kind of try and fix them, which unfortunately, again, doesn't seem to have happened either. Like I said, it's frustrating at this stage of the campaign because, obviously, especially when one upgrade fails, for some reason, I can't fix it and obviously get another one working, which is a little bit annoying. Redevelopments do work, I believe. Yeah, there you go. But single developments don't. I don't know why. This is desperately something that EA needs to fix inside F125. But getting more facility upgrades done, bringing more cash into the books as well, which is exactly what we want to be doing. We're trying to get the last upgrades we need to finally be a Phase 4 team as well. So we do still need to get a few more personnel in, which is going to be rather difficult to do. But I think if we can just keep trying to finish off some of the Phase 2 upgrades, that'll probably put us in quite a good spot. You can see getting a few more bits and pieces sorted. We are finally going to get that fuel flow regulation done as well. And then with a few other bits and pieces as well. So delays in equipment delivery from our regular supplier are disrupting our facility expansion plans, which could slow workforce growth. Should we wait for the delayed shipment to secure a new supplier at a higher cost? I say we go with a new supplier. It's going to cost us 50 grand, but we've got 33 million in the bank. We don't need cash at the moment. We've got a few more bits of owner training that we can do as well now. I'm just trying to keep these fairly even. So I'm going to use a point there, and we're going to get some activities done as well behind the scenes. I think I'm going to just work on a few more bits and pieces in the background, and I think I will join you guys out in qualifying, ready in Barcelona.
It's a Catalonian qualifying for you today. Welcome along to Spain, to Barcelona, and wherever you are in the world, do you feel the need? The need for speed?
Well, after plenty of time then to relax and recuperate after the Saudi Arabian Grand Prix, I think everybody coming here to Barcelona then with a little bit more belief because obviously now we've proven that Max Verstappen can be beaten this season. Just give everybody a lot of confidence then. I've tried to go with a bit of a Max Verstappen style setup though on the car. Race pace, I'm hoping it's going to be alright, but qualifying trim, it is a little bit twitchy around this circuit. Hopefully, well, will give us a lot of speed there, as you can already see. Having to try and go for a bit of a correction in towards turn 3. You know, as we've brought more and more upgrades to this car, we have moved back up the order. I think we've just got back ahead of Aston Martin in the theoretical performance. Yeah, we've really got to be trying to chase every last tenth of a second now, especially obviously, you know, if we want to be fighting up towards the top in the Drivers' Championship. It only takes a couple of, you know, bad races or a DNF for Max Verstappen to bring a lot of cars back into the fight. So there we go, thank you, Pierre Gasly. But as always, hoping we make it through Q1 and Q2 without too many problems. That's not what I meant. Well, that's the second weekend in a row then we've gone for a spin in qualifying, and I guess, well, if you're not pushing the limits, you're not finding the limits behind the wheel of a Formula 1 car. I've gone back out on the same set of tyres. Luckily, looks like Albon feeling a bit more confident as well this weekend. Currently up in P7 in Q1. I mean, we really need him making it into Q3 semi-reliably, obviously, especially if we want to fight Mercedes for the Constructors, you know, for that P4 spot. But yeah, you just see how kind of neutral we're having to be on the steering, really allowing the back end to kind of tip around. Making our way though through the final couple of corners. Of course, this won't be the theoretical limit out of the car, especially when we know the track will ramp up as well. We go P10 in Q1, safely kind of in that top group, but I think we've got to hope that not many other drivers improve. Well, there we go. George Russell, 109.4 then in Q1. So I guess we're going to be chasing 108 by the end of qualifying today. But great to see Alex Albon mixing it up towards the front of the order. Once again, Verstappen just trying to do what he needs to make sure he gets into Q2 there. But Ollie Bearman will be gutted to narrowly miss out just behind Paul Aaron. Lance Stroll and that Aston Martin Honda out in Q1. Both Audi cars out in Q1 as well, so Hulkenberg will be left scratching his head. But let's just try and make it into Q3. Charles Leclerc then right on the brink of the 108 so far in qualifying. The only lap time I saw, though, was Max Verstappen, who ran a 109.1. So yeah, we're definitely going to see 8s by the end of the session. In fact, Leclerc might have already done so then, but making our way through the final corner, getting ready to start our proper lap of anger. Albon down in P13, not a great first lap by our teammate, but I think he went out on a scrub set of tyres. I think we were using a bit too much battery early on in the lap last time round, so this time I'm going to be just a little bit more careful. But of course, yeah, it's finding, you know, the grit, the confidence, everything like that through those first few corners. A 10th up, though, on Antonelli through Sector 1. That seems to be our weakest sector here. Let's see what the gap is to Antonelli then by the end of Sector 2. 7/10 up then is Purple through that middle sector. So yeah, I think through the higher downforce stuff here, we have got a lot of speed in this Cadillac machine there, eh? Up the hill. Oh, you just see still getting a little bit squirrely. But try and keep the car planted, trying to keep it in all the right places around this venue. Use the battery out the final corner. 109.6. We go P3. But Verstappen and Leclerc half a second ahead of anybody else. And there we go then by the end of Q2. Charles Leclerc fastest just ahead of Verstappen. And Pierre Gasly in the end going quicker than myself. Once more, 5 cars from 5 different teams up inside your top 5. This time around though it's going to be Oscar Piastri that ends up going out in Q2 there alongside Alexander Albon. Colapinto. I thought Williams was struggling here, but they've got both cars into Q3. And last weekend's winner, Tsunoda, down in P10. It's not the end of the world, though, for him. Of course, we all know all that matters now is who can get the best lap in that third session. We're getting ready then to start our first run here in Q3. Like I said, the goal is going to be 108. I'm not quite convinced this car's got it in it. But hopefully we can be down on at least a low 109. You never know what might happen, though, if you absolutely get the line nailed, or you just get exceptionally committed into the corners. Anything is possible behind the wheel of a Formula 1 car there, especially with how much grit these cars have got inside this game. And you can see just how much confidence you've got through Turn 1 and Turn 2 there. Use a little bit of battery through the exit Turn 3, and leave the car in 7th gear there as we break up in towards Turn 4 there. These are the kind of corners where the AI are very good. Happy to throw it right up towards the grass. I can't quite maintain those lines through some of the corners here, but then we can gain a lot of time elsewhere there. Oh, a little snap of oversteer as the car tried to over-rotate through the bottom of the corner there. Camps, I mean, it's not even a challenge anymore. Just how much grip these cars have got on this setup. Really try and get the car wedged over the inside of that curb. Understeer out a little bit wide on the exit. But we were pretty close there to Pierre Gasly through that second split time. Nice and tidy up towards the top of the hill. Maximise the track width. Use the battery on the run in towards these final couple of corners. Carry the speed out of the final turn. It's going to be a 109.4. We go quicker than Ocon, slower than Pierre, but we are in the fight. Well, Carlos Sainz then has set the pace at the moment in that McLaren of a 108.95. Max Verstappen, though, also down into the 108s. But could we see any banzai lap Charles Leclerc, the kind of driver that could spring a surprise out of nowhere here, right towards the end of qualifying then. Getting ourselves ready to go, though, ready for our final run. I know we do put a lot of emphasis on qualifying now inside this game, but it is so much fun when you get the laps hooked up. These cars so grippy and so quick that it is really just a joy to drive them at the moment. We know there's a couple more tenths to find on our run, though. It's nice and tidy through turn 1 and turn 2. We did a very good job last time round, keeping the car committed through there. So as long as we haven't lost too much time relative to it, I'm not going to complain. Verstappen now. 108.6 for the Dutchman, and I got too distracted looking at that, and I've gone and ended up my qualifying ever so slightly earlier than I wanted. P8 on the grid for the Spanish Grand Prix. That's a little bit of a shame. Well, I don't know whether it was a gust of wind or something at the top of the hill. Maybe just a skill issue from myself there. But looking at the final times, I think we could have gone quicker than George Russell come the end of the session. But the Ferraris, the McLarens and Max Verstappen, maybe just a little too quick. The Dutchman, though, 3 tenths clear of anybody else. Right when it matters, he was able to deliver the lap.
So many eventful races here in Barcelona over the years. Do you remember Max Verstappen's first win on debut for Red Bull here in 2016? 2 years before, we had the dramatic coming together of Hamilton and Rosberg going towards turn 4. There's always a treat in store as we head back to the Circuit de Barcelona Catalunya for the Spanish Grand Prix. It's an updated track at Catalunya, and we welcome the removal of the chicane in the final sector, shortening lap times and reducing the total running to 2.9 miles and 14 turns. This was actually the original setup for the track, but it hasn't been used since 2007. Off the back of a fantastic qualifying session, it's time to see how our starting grid looks like for today's race. Max Verstappen put in a fantastic lap yesterday, and he'll start from pole position, with Charles Leclerc alongside. Considering the rest of the grid, we have Sainz, Tsunoda, Lando Norris, and Russell, Gasly, Jeddah, Ocon, and Franco Colapinto, Piastri, Albon, Liam Lawson, and Antonelli, Doohan, Aaron, Ollie Behrman, and Lance Stroll, Bortoletto, Crawford, O'Sullivan, and Nico Hülkenberg rounds off the grid. Now it's almost time for lights out, so let's go down to the track.
Well, here we are then, down on the grid. P8, not the best qualifying session we've had this season, but at least we're kind of still in that fight towards the front. Team, I'm going to immediately correct them on the strategy there because I do not believe that we're going to be able to make that work. We're going to go slightly less aggressive, medium to hard, hopefully have a bit better tyre life than a lot of the cars around me, but at least it's sunny skies throughout this event this afternoon. Let's see what we can do, though, here for the Spanish Grand Prix. Looks like everybody has had the same idea. It's 5 red lights on the grid. Oh, mighty long hole, but it is lights out, and away we go. Why are we doing that now, Mark? Thank you. Come on, we got a race to be getting on with rather than checking the radio with him. As George Russell not getting off to a particularly good start. Hopefully we can try and get past the Mercedes. Oh, into turn 1 there. It's Esteban Ocon. Just trying to pinch me in from the outside line through the corner. A little bit of bumping and banging withdraw through the exit turn 2 there, but we hang on, and we've even gained a place at the start of the GP. I've gone a little bit risky on fuel this weekend, but I'm pretty certain this car now is economical inside this game there. It already looks like Leclerc has got the jump on Verstappen at the start of this one, so yeah, the Dutchman, to be honest, it's not often we see him get pole in that Red Bull so far. It has been his race pace that has been very good, but Leclerc knows it is now or never if he wants to try and get his championship back on track. Of course, two-time reigning world champion inside this series, but so far this season has been consistent, but has not won yet at all. Come on, and Gasly surely this time round has got to try and get a run on Lando. I mean, look at that, we do gleam a little bit against them, but nowhere near enough there, as 221 miles now at that time in towards that first corner. Gasly gets through. Will Norris be able to hang with him? If not, we've got to try and get past that Ferrari ASAP. Tsunoda, he's not pulling away rapidly. Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, he's not pulling away rapidly as Yuki, but he's definitely quicker. The Ferrari, yeah, that has been a gamble that has not paid off instantly in this race. But it wouldn't be a Ferrari strategy if you didn't realise it was a mistake after just 5 laps in a Grand Prix. Yeah, you can see Lando as well, definitely struggling with top-end speed here. To the outside in towards turn 1. I love the yellow accents on that car there, but swooping through then as one red car overtakes another. As long as we can stick with Gasly, I think that Williams has got very good pace this weekend. But yeah, let's try and get out of the range of Norris and hope that he can hold up Russell. Gasly then maybe just struggling a little bit against the pace of Yuki Tsunoda in that McLaren car in front. So we're going to try and get a run on him then. 2 cars in 2 laps there as Gasly kind of wanted to try and not claim the racing line, but didn't want me to have it either. So we will power our way through around the outside as Sainz actually on the set of soft compound tyres. So maybe I was right. Maybe some of those top runners have started on softs. And maybe they could be set to struggle quite soon. We've got to get in the range of Tsunoda though. That gap 1.1. Oh, this could be quite pivotal in this race. I think now Leclerc has dropped out the range of Verstappen. I think Charlie Boy, just Ferrari in general this weekend, really struggling with overall speed. Again, they've got a car that can fight. They've got drivers that are very quick as well. But ultimately, I think Leclerc has dropped back now, and Sainz is going to try and go for the move. It's like Leclerc again on softs. So we will get right up Tsunoda's trumpet by the time we get in towards turn 1. Don't want to go for the move just yet, though. Tyres should be absolutely fine to get to the end of 15. Just want to wait and see when the AI pit as well from those softs, as I might try and go for a cheeky undercut on Yuki. Try and get a bit closer to those cars ahead. Right, come on, we're going to try and get a run on Tsunoda now. Big run out of that final corner, and you can see how much Leclerc's struggling a little bit up in front. Again, we haven't really got much top-end speed here, but we will have enough to get all the way around Yuki by the time we get towards turn 1. We could have not timed that more beautifully, as the 2 cars in front of me go side by side. You definitely still see how much we're struggling to try and keep the car planted exactly where we need it. I think if these 2 stay out another lap, we're going to try and box for the undercut. If they dive in now, we'll try and go 1 lap further and make sure we got the better tyres at the end of the afternoon. Well, Verstappen has taken this opportunity to absolutely jump those guys behind and go full attack mode over these last couple of laps, so I reckon he started on the mediums. I mean, it's Barcelona and it's all tyre conversations around this venue as the Dutchman opts to stay out. Everybody else opts to stay out there, so we will dive in. I think I got a warning for track limits there because we were quite aggressive. It was quite a sudden decision to dive into the pit lane then, as Lando Norris just behind me for some reason getting priority call down at Ferrari as well then, so not entirely convinced this is the right call. Maybe a little bit of a sudden judgment. Oh, that's not going to help.
Moving the right front wheel. I know it's not ideal, but let's try and put it behind us now and get back into this race. Pit strategy complete. See these tyres through to the end now.
So frustrating. Every time we're trying to go for an aggressive strategy inside this game, the team labour us with a terrible pit stop. But hopefully we can get these tyres fired up nice and quickly. We should be safe to the end of the afternoon. But of course, hindsight is a beautiful thing. Had I known we were going to have the slow stop, I would have extended the medium stint. This might help us out just a little bit then. I've only just got in the range of Kimi Antonelli. Hopefully we'll be able to carry some speed back in towards turn 1. I think Verstappen's been held up in this race.
Or lift sometimes and ease onto the brake pedal for some manual recharge.
That was a critical move then. Max Verstappen, he must have had a slow pit stop in this race because he's now dropped back behind Sainz and Leclerc in this race. So not too sure what's happened there, but it is critical we stay in the range of these three. Like I said, that was a brave move on Antonelli, but luckily he kind of expected it. I'm sure the home crowd are loving this at the moment because Leclerc does seem to be the cork in the bottle with those top 3 drivers. Sainz new fastest lap of 11.0 here. There's now Verstappen trying to look around the outside. We've got yellows out. Oh, don't say I've jinxed Carlos Sainz. The commentator's curse in an instant as the McLaren drops to the wayside in this Grand Prix. I'm sure Zach Brown was hoping it was about to become back-to-back victories this season. But MasterCard McLaren then, disaster for them. And, well, like I said, that is a commentator's curse on poor Carlos Sainz. I'm so sorry. But annoyingly, my pace against the hard compound runners isn't actually looking that bad at the moment. We've not been dropping much away from Charles Leclerc at this stage of the GP. The Lando Norris, though, definitely a lot quicker on the softs. Or on the mediums, even, I should say. I think we're going to let him by now and just try and sit with him towards these final 10 laps. I want to get another podium on the board this season. But yeah, I've got to hope those mediums fall apart towards the end. Don't lose the DRS range. That's goal number 1. Alright, let's try and go for it. Let's see what we can do against Lando Norris on the run back in towards turn 1. Not one of those Audi cars there, just a little way up the road. What a terrible weekend it's been for them. Plenty to go back to the drawing board and work out with that car at the moment. But around the outside of Lando Norris will go on the run in towards turn 1. Let's hope now we can time the DRS so we can try and get past Hulkenberg. Well, with just 1 lap to go then in this Grand Prix, we're trying to get a little bit strategic here. We're just trying to see if I can get in the range of Gabriel Bortoleto. I don't quite think it's going to happen. But luckily for me, I think Lando Norris and the medium tyre there has started to fall off right towards the end of this GP. And again, hard tyres are starting to feel just a little bit sketchy as well. Could Pierre Gasly potentially get a run on the Ferrari on this final lap? We've just got to try and hang on now as once again Verstappen, I mean, he's just been relentless. Obviously lost that lead through the pit cycle, sorry, I should say. Got it back. A couple of laps of Leclerc and Sainz battling. Walked away. Never looked back here. 8 seconds clear. Come the checkered flag, and it looks like the Dutchman 4 wins from the opening 5 Grand Prix. Like I said, everybody heading back to Europe, thinking maybe the Dutchman, they can start trying and get some results out over him. And he's just told everybody, no, not a chance. In towards the final few corners, though, of the Spanish Grand Prix, Max Verstappen, another dominant drive. Even when everything doesn't go his way, he still finds a way to get back in front and absolutely walk away from the rest of the field towards the end of the afternoon.
7.0 seconds.
Max Verstappen out of the line. He will win the Spanish Grand Prix here today. Will we get some DRS off Bortoleto on the run back to the finish? Gasly, yeah, closing in on Lando Norris rather rapidly. I'm happy with the way we've controlled this race today. We did pretty well, especially with include the pit stop.
The checkered flag is out. We're going to be hearing that Dutch national anthem again because it's victory for Max Verstappen.
There was never a moment of doubt today. You could tell that they completely had it under control, and that is a sign of greatness.
It's what they've all been racing towards, waiting for them. High above the pit lane is our podium. And for the lucky 3, it's time to stand on it. But there can only be one on the top step. Your number 1, Max Verstappen.
Well, there we are then. Max Verstappen, 8 seconds clear of Charles Leclerc. Like I said, a little bit sketchy in the middle of the race for him, but took the lead back and, yeah, never looked back. He will claim victory number 4 of the year, just ahead of Charlie Boy. We come through for our 3rd podium in 5 races, though, so we really are maintaining a pattern of podium, 6th place, podium, 6th place. So next weekend back in Montreal, I'm sure we're in store for another 6th place finish there. Happy that we had the pace over Lando Norris towards the end of the afternoon. Definitely made the right call with strategy today. Gasly in P5, brilliant result for Williams, just ahead of Esteban Ocon. Tsunoda, he'll be disappointed down in P7, just ahead of Colapinto and those 2 Mercedes cars. Albon, a much better result from our teammate, but still, yeah, narrowly missing out on points today, even when George Russell struggled. Carlos Sainz are only DNF, but quite a few cars a lap down when all is said and done. Again, goes to showcase the pace that Verstappen's got at the moment. 52 points now, his advantage at the top of the table as Lando Norris back up into P2. 2 points ahead of myself as we are 1 point ahead of Charles Leclerc, who is 2 points ahead of Yuki Tsunoda. We are definitely in the fight for 2nd overall this season, but I think consistency is going to be what pays the bills come the end of the campaign. Albon, though, with that result, yeah, re-jumps back up into best of the no-point scorers so far. 15th place for him, just behind Doohan and Liam Lawson. Constructors-wise, Red Bull 21 clear of Ferrari. McLaren still 9 ahead of ourselves. But yeah, as I keep saying, as long as we beat Mercedes and Williams, that is our main goal throughout this campaign. Thank you all so much for watching. If you have enjoyed, please do make sure to leave a like, get yourself subscribed, and we'll be back very soon when Formula 1 returns ready for, I believe, yeah, the Canadian Grand Prix.